This is Adria Richards. She's a feminist who worked for a tech company, and she is one of many reasons why I don't respect feminism. Now, if you haven't already heard the story, what happened was she attended the PyCon convention, and she heard two men behind her making a joke about dongles. Now, this joke offended her. So what do you think she does next? Here are some choices. A. Decides that it was a private conversation that had nothing to do with her and forgets about it. B. Toughens up and joins in with the joking. C. Turns to them and politely tells them that the joke offended her. Or D. Takes a picture of them and gets one of the men fired. Choose wisely now. Take your time and really think about it. Okay, I know it's tough, so I'll give you a hint. Feminists are always saying that they are strong, capable, independent, and deserve respect. Which of these options do you think encapsulates all those qualities? The answer is option D. After she heard the joke, she turned to the men and took a picture of them. What are they, wanted criminals now for telling a geeky joke? Psh, these are the guys right here. We're gonna need 5 roadblocks and an all points bulletin. We're gonna get these guys. Psh. She had a big old smile on her face as she snapped the picture too. Apparently she takes pleasure in trying to get these men in trouble. She posted their picture on her Twitter, and one of the men lost his job. So yes, after hearing a joke she doesn't like, she doesn't think, well, it was a private conversation that had nothing to do with me and I should just mind my own business. She doesn't even have the decency to at least tell them, hey guys, that offends me, I would appreciate it if you guys didn't make any more jokes like that. It still wouldn't have been any of her business, but at least they would have gotten the heads up that there was an overly sensitive feminist in the vicinity. Now she ended up losing her job too. I was quite surprised about that. She actually got fired. You're fired! But I'm glad she did. Maybe next time she'll think twice before eavesdropping on other people's private conversations and ruining their livelihoods. This man has 3 kids, and because of her, he lost a job that he loved because of a harmless joke he had with a friend. Of course, the feminists and the white knights come to her aid because they always see women as the victims who are incapable of doing wrong. To them, the men were wrong and Adria was the victim, and this is somehow more proof that the field of technology is a, quote, boys' club. But let's say a man overheard 2 women making a joke and he took offense to their joke, posted it, and got himself and one of the women fired over it. Do you think they would be outraged that the man got fired for it and that it was wrong for the women to make such a joke? Nah, I'm willing to bet everything that they wouldn't be. They'd probably say, it was wrong of him to eavesdrop. Women can't even have a private conversation without some man intruding and taking her picture without her permission. Now this poor woman with 3 kids was fired for telling a harmless joke. This just proves there's a patriarchy and men have too much power. Because to feminists and white knights, the situation doesn't matter. A woman can never do any wrong. Nothing is ever the woman's fault. She is always the victim. Feminists want to be respected. Now that might be tough when you have such an entitlement complex, and you feel that you have a right to not be offended, and when you are, you take it upon yourself to take pictures of the people who offended you and get them fired. That's a terrible way of trying to get any respect. I don't respect people who take pleasure in ruining other people's livelihoods over nothing. If you are so strong, capable, independent, and worthy of respect, you would just mind your own business and stop overreacting to harmless jokes. Now, I know I'm going to get some people on here saying, oh, that's rich coming from you. Aren't you the guy who bitches about commercials and overreacts to them? First of all, I don't take issues with the commercials themselves. I point out the fact that it's acceptable to portray men in those ways, but we hardly ever see the sexes switched, and if we do, that would be considered sexist. I merely point out the double standards. Second of all, if I overhear a woman making a sexist comment, and believe me, I have plenty of times, maybe it would offend me and maybe it won't. But it wasn't my conversation to listen to. I just so happened to be within a range where I could hear them. I wouldn't try to get them in trouble, and I wouldn't interrupt them and tell them they offended me. And I sure as hell wouldn't take their picture and post it online as if they were wanted criminals. If I don't like what I'm hearing, then I'll just move away. But I don't think they should get fired or shamed for merely having a private conversation. We have the right to free speech. We do not have the right to not get offended. Feminists seem to think that they have a right to not have their feelings hurt, and men should be prohibited from saying something that may be offensive to them, even if the men weren't even talking to them. These men were just minding their own business. She should have been doing the same thing. Adria writes, not cool. Jokes about forking repos in a sexual way and big dongles right behind me. More like, not cool, taking their picture without permission and getting them fired because you're an overly sensitive feminist who can't mind her own business. These days, not offending women is more important than a man's livelihood.